What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. And today, I don't really have too many topics to talk about. Only got two to talk about. One is film related, one is music related. So if you guys are not interested in that, check the time codes down below so you can see what topics I'm talking about. If you're not interested in any, then, next week, hopefully, then I'll have a topic that you guys will be more interested in. But today, I had two topics that I wanted to talk about. First, I want to talk about this whole, so Ebro did an interview with Skepta, or he had like some type of interview with Skepta, and there was clips going around of them talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef. And basically Skepta was saying that this beef, he felt like things went a little too far, especially on Kendrick's end, when Kendrick was basically accusing Drake of being a pedophile and stuff like that. And he was saying that for Kendrick to say those type of things, that it would lose Drake like deals, because he got deals with Nike and stuff like that. Like, Kendrick saying those things was making it further than beef, because like Drake had stuff to lose. I mean, truthfully told, they both got stuff to lose, but he was saying that it was bad on Kendrick's end to do that. And then they were comparing it to like other battles, like with Pusha T. Ebro said that he personally didn't like when Pusha said the thing about 40, having a sickness and stuff like that. They were talking about how like, battles like Biggie and Tupac and Jay-Z and Nas was very disrespectful. And like, basically, they were just both saying that they felt like the Kendrick and Drake beef went too far. And I know I gave my opinion on it before, when the beef was still very much active, but I want to give my thoughts now, months later, even though it's not going to be that much different from back then. I still wanted to give, my 2 cents now on how I felt about this and why. Personally, me, I'm gonna be real with y'all. And some of the people that I've seen talk about this, they have ties to the industry. They have ties to, Ebro and Skepta and everybody else possibly within the beef. Me, I'm just a regular dude. So I'm gonna give it to y'all straight like this. I don't have no ties to no fucking industry. So I'm just gonna give it to y'all straight like this. Everybody is being sensitive as hell, and I'm tired of people acting like this battle went too fucking far. I'm tired of it, because I've heard this on so many different levels with J. Cole, with Port Antonio, which I'll slightly touch on that a little bit. Like, I'm sick of how everybody is acting like this beef was gonna be one of the most deadliest fucking beefs in rap history. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm fucking not, because I'm gonna be real. I'm sick of how everybody is acting sensitive with this fucking beef, bro. I'm really actually getting sick of it. So this isn't just fully at Ebro or Skepta. This is just overall rap culture. I'm sick of how everybody keeps trying to blow this beef out of fucking proportion. First off, I already was going at it with a bunch of J. Cole fans when I said that J. Cole should have never backed. Well, first off, I said that J. Cole should have never inserted himself into the beef if he knew that like that was directed more at Drake. If you knew that shit was more directed at Drake, you had no reason to even make 7-minute drill. So I already felt like J. Cole shouldn't have even been peer pressured and put out the first diss in the first place. But once you stepped into that ring, the fuck you mean you want to back out and that you're sorry and that this is taking you to a bad place? What's taking you to a bad place? The beef was not serious. You two were friends, at least from what we know. Now, okay, that I'll say. At least from what we know, you two were friends. You two were cool. And it seemed like there was a mutual respect between Kendrick and Cole to where you guys wouldn't have taken anything further. Kendrick and Drake, that's a different story, because the two didn't really like each other. But even with two people that didn't like each other, the beef wound up only just being on wax. So, all I'm saying is, with J. Cole, him trying to blow it out of proportion, talking about I wouldn't have lost a friend, or no, I wouldn't have lost the battle, I would have lost a friend, or something like that. Like, I'm already off put by how J. Cole is going about this shit. But then to hear people talk about this battle and comparing it to Nas and Jay-Z, comparing it to Biggie and Tupac. Hell, I even heard somebody once compare it to Game and 50, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be real. I don't know too much about the Jay-Z and Nas battle. Of course, I know the diss tracks, but I don't know about the stuff that happened outside of those battles. But to compare Kendrick and Drake to fucking Biggie and Tupac, which led to both their deaths, which led to like a whole East Coast, West Coast beef. Like there was so many documented moments behind this beef. We got hit him up where literally Tupac said, if you're down with Bad Boy or anybody associated with Bad Boy, we hope you die. Like that's the type of time that Tupac was on. And yes, Kendrick did say, oh, Drake is a horrible person and he should die. But there was a difference. You could see that with the Biggie and Tupac beef, there was actually real physical shit going on behind that, to where Kendrick, maybe he does really personally fucking hate Drake that much, but nobody has gotten hurt and there is no real risk of things going further, at least not as of this moment. The songs are not making anybody crash out just yet. I feel like the thing that will finally make somebody crash out is if the hands were thrown, if somebody was actually like physically touched. But nobody has been physically touched and nothing has popped off at all. So I'm sick of people trying to make this beef seem bigger than what it is. Biggie and Tupac, there were people actually getting fucked up behind that. There's nobody getting hurt behind Kendrick and Cole. All right, next one. People talking about some this, like I said, so I've heard somebody compare this to like 50 and Game, which kids was involved with that one fucking. And I don't mean like how, Drake and Kendrick's kids are involved. Like, no, somebody's son actually got smacked in the 50 and Game beef. There was shootouts at radio stations. You guys telling me that a beef where everything has been strictly on wax is comparable to all those other beefs? You guys got to get the fuck out of here with that. Next thing, because I know somebody may try to bring it up, the shooting at Drake's house around the time that the beef went off. That was, look, obviously we don't know concretely who shot at Drake and stuff like that. So there is a very small, and I mean small chance that it might have had to do with Kendrick's beef. But everything been pointing more to that was more Toronto shit or more Canadian shit going on with Drake. So I'm just sick of hearing how everybody's saying that things went too far in this beef, when personally I personally don't even think things went too far. And if things did go too far, then that's because Drake inserted, that type of energy in here. Kendrick literally was on some just regular rap shit. If you listen to Kendrick's verse on Like That, literally he kept it straight rap. Yeah, if he was disrespecting anybody, if he named anybody, he literally was only going at Drake. There was no, you don't know about raising your son. There was none of that. There was none of your mom and your dad raised a horrible child. Like there was none of that until Drake inserted the personal family shit, which Drake did on his very first diss track. He literally did that on his very first diss track, which I've seen people say like, oh yeah, Kendrick, even though he told Drake that he wanted this to be a friendly fade, Kendrick was talking about some you don't know how to raise your son at the end of Euphoria. What the hell came out before Euphoria? Push-ups. Where Drake didn't go full in on the whole you beat your wife angle, but he still was talking about some I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney. Come on now. He was already talking about family from out the gate in his very first diss track. He was talking about family from out the gate. So people trying to put this on Kendrick, I just don't understand how people keep trying to give Drake this type of leeway. Like this energy wasn't brought by him in the first fucking place. You can feel however you want about the diss tracks, but when it comes to facts, when it comes to who inserted, people talking about kids and wives in the situation and baby moms in the situation, you guys got to recognize that Drake opened that invitation. He opened that invitation. And even with Kendrick's first diss track, he slightly touched on it, but he wasn't disrespectful to Drake's kid. He literally was just saying, you don't know how to raise your kid. So that's still more him coming at Drake than really talking about, Drake's family. So I just don't get this narrative that's been going on that things have gone too far and that things can go far or that things will go far with this beef. There's always, I'll give y'all this. There's always a possibility that things can go further than there's always a possibility, because this is the main thing everybody kept saying to me. Oh, there's always a possibility that things can go further, but there's always the possibility that things aren't gonna go any further than the fuck they're at. Because that's the one thing everybody kept saying to me when I was telling my opinion about J. Cole, where I was like, truth be told, I don't think it wouldn't have went, that far, even if Kendrick did respond and they did actually duke it out in a battle. I was saying, I don't think it's really going to go that far. But everybody was like, oh, but it can go that far. Okay. We're talking about probabilities now. There's also the probability that it wouldn't have gone any farther. So you bringing up a probability literally does nothing. It literally does nothing. Saying that, oh, it can go farther does nothing, because I also feel I can also throw out the probability that it wouldn't have gone any farther. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, there's always possibilities on both sides, but at the end of the day, just from the educated guess of that J. Cole and Kendrick were friends and that they have a mutual respect for each other, which obviously we can see with 7 Minute Drill. A lot of people were saying it sounded like J. Cole didn't even want to do it. So it's obvious that there was still a very big mutual respect even in that moment. So that's what I'm saying. And even tying it back to the whole Kendrick and Drake thing, they don't even like each other, but there still has not been any physical violence on either side. So this is what I'm saying. I'm sick of everybody, saying that rap disses are getting too what's the word? Like, basically they're taking it too far. I'm getting sick of hearing everybody say that, especially when we are of a culture where we praise the war in Chicago. We talk about smoking on packs. We be referencing like the things going on in Florida. Like, hell, we were the people that made When I See You and Who I Smoke popular on the internet. We are of that culture where people are literally dying and we're making those songs trend when they make fun of the people that's dying. So you're telling me that we're just fine and dandy with that shit going on. And I'm not saying majority of us are fine with it, but we are still making it popular. So are we really cool with propelling that type of music and stuff like that? But two dudes are having a beef, but they only keep it on wax, and we're saying that shit is going too far. Like, I don't know. I just find it ridiculous, and I feel like people need to first. I feel like people need to stop giving Drake so much leeway and saying that Kendrick took it too far. Because don't get me wrong, Kendrick went the fuck in, but he did give Drake that warning, and Drake was the one that introduced this type of energy into it. So once he saw that Drake brought that energy, and I'm not just saying this because I personally like Kendrick more. I'm a very fair person. So if Drake, outdid Kendrick at his own game, then cool. I would have said it. But you can't get mad at Kendrick for just following suit with what Drake set up. So I feel like people need to stop putting it on Kendrick and acknowledge that. Because definitely, if we looking at this battle truthfully, both people said lies. I truthfully don't believe that Drake is a pedophile. I feel like Drake has very weird relationships with younger women that's of age. That is definitely weird. But to call him a pedophile and imply that he's messing with literal kids, that's where I'm like, okay, Kendrick, like, I'll let you slide because the song sounded good, but it's like, realistically speaking, he ain't no damn pedophile. Also, when it comes to Drake having a daughter, which a lot of people say we got to take points away from Kendrick from Meet the Grams on that. I mean, the rest of the song literally still stands, whether Drake has a secret daughter or not, but I don't believe that Drake actually has a secret daughter. I feel like Kendrick was trying to get, a surprising moment out of the song. But what I'm basically saying is if we looking on both sides, lies were spread on both sides. Personal family business was brought up on both sides. So all I'm saying is a lot of the things that we're saying about Kendrick taking it too far, which I really don't even feel like this beef went far really at all. But if we are going to say that things went too far with Kendrick, then you also got to say that things also went far with Drake, because there's no reason for him to fucking imply that um that Kendrick's boy Dave Free was fucking his baby mom. There's no reason that Drake had to spread that lie like that. Just like how there's no reason that Kendrick had to spread the lie of Drake having a secret daughter. So here's my thing. If From how I'm seeing it, both people took it too far. Both people lied. And if any of those lies actually came out and that they were confirmed true, then I'll admit that, I was wrong in this episode. And even if things do go any further, I'll admit that I'm wrong in this episode. Like I said, I'll admit it. But from what I'm seeing and from how this beef went, I really don't feel like things went that far. I really don't think things went that far, especially since Drake still got his deals, Kendrick still got his deals. Like, everybody's doing just fine. And besides, these are grown men we're talking about. I'm pretty sure they both went into this battle knowing the repercussions that they could face. Like I said, these two have stuff to lose. Kendrick and Drake both equally have stuff to lose. These are two of the biggest rappers in our generation. Not even just in our generation, but like just two of the biggest rappers ever. So it's like they both knew what they were getting into when they were getting into this beef, and I wish people would stop babying Drake. As far as, now this is gonna sound very fucked up. I'm gonna keep it real. This is gonna sound very messed up. As far as Ebro bringing up the Pusha T line towards 40, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Story of Adidon. I know most people was impressed by Pusha revealing that Drake had a kid. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. When Pusha was going at 40, those were some of my favorite bars in the fucking song. I'm not even gonna lie. I know that sounds very fucked up because I was just talking about things going too far, but yeah, nah, that was my favorite fucking lines of that battle. Yo, that boy is 666, tick tick tick. I got the devil flow 666. Oh my gosh. Pusha was going fucking crazy with that diss. But all right, to change gears, that's basically how I feel about the whole Drake and Kendrick thing, and Ebro and Skepta saying that Kendrick took it too far. That's how I feel about that. If you guys have any thoughts on that, leave it down below. Let me know how y'all feel. And then the second topic, which isn't really going to be too long, and I don't want to say too much because I saved my end of year ranking for next month. So next month, y'all look forward to it. But I wanted to just talk about Anora, the new movie from Sean Baker that came out this month. And well, technically it came out last month, but it got a wider release this month. But oh man, I loved Anora. I love this movie. I love this movie. I love this movie. So, like I said, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil where this is ranked. I don't want to spoil too much of how I feel about it. I'm gonna save my full, complete thoughts for next month when I do my rankings for films of the year and stuff like that. But what I will say is that with Anora, yeah, so I was excited, and Anora was pretty much my most anticipated movie of the year. Obviously, I had other movies that I was anticipating before I even found out Anora, but when I saw the first trailer, I instantly said, yeah, I'm going to see this movie, and it became my most anticipated movie of the year for different reasons. One, Mikey Madison, I only seen her in Scream, but I love horror movies. My friend put me on to the Scream movies, so like seeing her in there and seeing her performance, like I was like, okay, finally seeing her get a lead role is something that I'm very much interested in. Also Sean Baker, which I never seen any of his other movies, so I know film people is probably going crazy. What, you haven't seen Florida Project? I know. I know. But Sean Baker, a lot of my friends saw his other movies and they were recommending his other movies to me for a good minute. So, once I saw that he was the director, I was like, bet. So now I can finally see my first Sean Baker movie with this one. Not even just that, but Neon, low key. Neon has been the MVPs of the year when it comes to films for me. Usually I look to A24 because I said it to y'all before. A24 is my favorite film studio, favorite film production company. But yeah, A24 definitely, I love them. But Neon, I'm not gonna lie, Neon has a very similar structure, very similar like type of company. They're both independent companies, so they have a very similar structure to A24. And I'm not gonna lie, if I have to go movie for movie, which actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it a couple of hours before I say my opinion because I'm gonna go see Heretic in a couple of hours after I film this. So maybe my opinion may change. But as of right now, as of me recording this episode before I see Heretic, I gotta say that if I go movie for movie with Neon and A24, I ain't gonna lie. Neon had nothing but bangers this year. Long Legs, Immaculate, there was another movie, Origin, that they played at a mystery movie, and now Anora. Like, Neon has been doing their thing this year. So not only do I want to congratulate Mikey Madison, Sean Baker, but I also want to congratulate Neon. They've been doing their fucking thing this year with films and stuff like that. And I know they only acquired this movie, but the fact that they're the ones, setting a wide release for it, like, yeah, I can only appreciate that they, acquired this movie. But yeah, man. So if you guys want to know any information about Anora, basically it's about Anora, who is a sex worker, a stripper, and she basically marries the son of a Russian oligarch. And once the news get back to his parents, the whole movie or the rest of the movie is basically about his parents and the people that work for them trying to get the marriage annulled. And that's all I can say without saying too much. Basically, this is just like my mini review. I'm not going to say too much, but another reason that I really wanted to see this is because it reminds me of Uncut Gems, which if you've seen my video where I was talking about my favorite films of all time, Uncut Gems is like one of my favorite films of all time, of course. And this movie had a very similar vibe to it. I will say that I do like Uncut Gems a lot more than Anora, but that's not saying a bad thing about Anora, but I'm just saying I can't see Anora sneaking into my top 15, but it's definitely going to be up there for one of my favorite films of all time. And the reason I bring up Uncut Gems, not only was, which I found out they used a lot of the same film equipment to make Anora, just like they made with Uncut Gems, but it also has a very similar vibe to where the films start out and it kind of grips you and it's like a building tension throughout the movie until the very fucking end when everything just kind of pops off. But here's the difference, and this is the one thing I'll give Anora over Uncut Gems. Personally, me, because I've seen a lot of reviews where people were saying that Uncut Gems was basically anxiety inducing for the whole runtime. I ain't gonna lie. Personally, for me, things didn't really get anxiety inducing until the very end of Uncut Gems, until basically he locked the loan sharks. I think they were loan sharks. I forget what they're specifically called, but the people that he owed money to, when he locked them in to the little glass door. If you've seen Uncut Gems, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, but the little glass entrance to his jewelry shop, and he was forcing them to watch the game with him. That's the only time that I really felt, anxiety induced watching Uncut Gems. But with Anora, this is the one thing I'll give over Uncut Gems. Anora is basically like, think of the biggest roller coaster you can think of. Think of the biggest roller coaster, and it just feels like it's only going up and up and up and up. Like, the craziness only keeps going up the more that the movie goes on, and it really does not take a chill pill. until literally the last, like maybe the 15-10 minutes. Anora is a steady, anxiety inducing ride all the way from beginning to end. It is so crazy. It is so crazy. So, like I said, I ain't trying to say too much, but I will say this. I urge everybody that's listening to watch Anora because it got comedy, it got drama, got a little bit of action, and I just feel like it's definitely one of the best movies of the year. Without saying where I rank it, it is definitely one of the best movies of the year, and I'm urging people to go to the theater to go watch it. Especially not even just because of how good of a film it is, but because we need to support independent studios that are giving us original films. I always hear people complain all the time that there's not original films. There's actually a lot of original films. It's just you guys just don't care to go out and see it. So a movie like Anora, I'm telling y'all, go check it out. It is definitely one of the best films of the year. Is it the best film of the year? Find out next month when I do my ranking. But it is one of the best films of the year, and I am urging y'all to go check it out. It is such an amazing movie. And I feel like you guys will have a good time watching it because I had a very good damn time watching it. Um, the only thing I will say is don't watch it with your family. It is, like I said, it is a movie about a stripper. They do not shy away from how explicit that industry can get. So definitely do not watch it with family. Go check it out with a couple of friends. If your girlfriend is the jealous type, don't watch it with her. But yeah. Yeah, so that's all I had to talk about today. I know I didn't give y'all an episode last week, partly because I was being lazy as hell. I'm gonna be real with y'all. But, consistency is the thing. That's the main thing. So, like I said, man, let me know what y'all think about the whole Drake and Kendrick thing, what Ebro and Skepta had to say. And if you guys seen Anora, don't spoil it in the comments, but let me know how you feel about the movie, because whew, man, I love that movie. But okay, y'all, with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out. Catch y'all on the next one, which I will drop next week. Even if I have to do an audio only, I will drop next week. So thank you guys for listening. And with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out. Catch y'all on the next one.